Thank you, my friend. Who here ever been in a place that a person read your palm, or go to a mystic place that the person, a medium, will tell you things? Go ahead, raise your hands. The question is, who here have been to a place that, you know, those places that a person is a medium, was a mystic, and you go over there and you pay him, you read your palm or tell you things about you, you know, do a reading. You ever been to a reading? Who here have been to a reading? Here we go. Good. Do you know how that works? Who here know how the reading works? Especially here in the United States, okay? In Brazil, we don't have readings like that. So, just here, we have those. Do you know how a reading works? And when a medium comes in and this, it tells you things. Yeah, a person that never saw you before and never met you.
My case, like with the palm reading, she would try to like throw things. You know, I see somebody like this, and try to describe it, and automatically I would jump it in and it'd say, oh, this is my friend. Then she'll pick it up from that and tell different things. And
so in her case, she was trying to
contact my father.
To contact your father, but and she was successful?
Not exactly.
Okay. Anybody else want to comment about the experience that they have with the reading that they had? Go ahead.
I've had good readings.
Yes.
And so I think that the way I think it works, like metaphysically or physically or whatever, is I think essentially the person is relatively sensitive to energy and impressions and ideas, right? And so in your field or whatever, you're carrying this information. I think maybe it even exists in the ether in a like a shared mind. And then I think they're connecting and then relaying to you what the energy, how it unfolds in their mind. However, it'd be like they smell something, they get implanted with a thought or something like that. And so, you know, my experience with them has been that they've been pretty solid. I think there's some weak experiences I had, but I mean, it was like,
so you think
it was sort of healing, right?
Right. So you think that the person will read your energy?
I don't know that it's actually, like, I don't know how energy exactly works, right? But
Okay.
I think it's like frequency, energy.
Okay. You don't believe that the spirit comes in and tell the person everything about you, and he's listening to it and just passing to you?
I don't necessarily think that's I think that's a possibility.
Okay.
I think that prior, like I'd think it happened a little differently than that. Like,
okay.
And I don't necessarily think it's a messenger coming and
right.
giving a message to them to relate to me, as much as it's they're just perceiving this energy. Like,
Gotcha. Anybody else want to come?
Yeah, I do have.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it was a long time ago.
Okay.
I was just under the furniture store, you know, I just signed my check and the guy started telling me about everything that's going to happen to me.
Okay, and he was
Right?
he was right?
Yeah, so far.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was 20 years old and he said I was going to come to the United States. I want to be here for many, many years.
Okay.
I want to have one son. And my son's going to be overseas, you know. And he's
I know,
gonna be
but
34.
do you know how this works?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's the
I
question.
sign and they keep telling me.
Okay, so I select to start it for tonight so we understand how the communication from another plane works in this plane, right? So we understand. I've been working in mediumships meetings for about 28 years now, and there's different communications, there's different ways to interact with the spiritual world, right? And like, there is no words, there is no that you hear, right? It's not that you hear in words. It's like you your perispirit, we need to give a class in perispirit also. It will contact the perispirit of the astral body. Here you go.
Light body.
Yes.
Sometimes they call it light body.
The light body, the astral body, right? Your astral body expands, contacts the astral body of the spirit, because the spirit still have an astral body, okay? And the exchange, the information happens right there. But it's like a dream. You ever see when you dream, there is no words, there is image only? Because the consciousness doesn't communicate it through language. There is no English, there's no Portuguese. Consciousness communicates through image. And that's why you need to understand what you're seeing in a dream. And it's the same way on a medium, on a communication, on a spirit. You feel, you sense what he's trying to tell you. And then you interpret and you pass it along. Okay, it's kind of, you read the astral body, because in the astral body there is the thoughts, there is emotion, there is everything there. So it depends on the medium, depends how the medium connects to it, he interprets the information and passes it along. Okay? There is questions, what is the reason we communicate with the spirits? They're dead, gone, bye-bye. Why we want to communicate with the spirits, right? But there is several reasons we do that. Because that's where we're going. That's where one day we're going to stay forever, right? That's on this plane that we're going to stay forever. So this communication, this learning, this exchange of information is very important for us when we are incarnated here. Because I don't know if everybody believes in reincarnation, but the process of the reincarnation, as soon as you are reincarnated, you kind of forget everything from the past life. The reason that happened is because it's a new start. Okay, so it gives you a new start for you to start it again and do it better. Okay? It's not that everything that you did in this life is wiped out. No, it's not. It will not be wiped out. You're going to have to face the responsibility for every single act from this life you did throughout your process of evolution, right? We evolved from the energy of the minerals all the way to the enlightened spirits, just like Jesus Christ did. Jesus Christ one day did the same thing we did that we're doing now. Not here, of course, in other spheres of the universe. But he went to the same process of evolution. Okay, and we are doing exactly the same thing. It's very important that we understand the spiritual world. It's very important that we take very serious, the spiritual world. Because on the Spirit's book, that is, we have here, the Kardec, wrote it to us in 1857, a question that he asked to the spirit, to the enlightened spirit. It was like this: does the spirits interfere with our lives? And the answer of the spirits, yes, so much that they are the ones who control your life. Okay, that's how intense is the interference that the spirits has with that. So if we could count your thoughts, if we could count our thoughts, if we had, let's for example, 50 thoughts, out of 50 thoughts, we don't know it's ours or it's coming from the spirit that is next to us. And everybody on this planet has somebody around them. Okay? Everybody. One has what? You saw the book here, right? You see the story in the book past here. You see what's happening to Margarida here and the situation is terrible. But everybody has somebody around because of the affinity that we have with other people. And the same thing with the spirits. You go to a place and there is full of spirits, just like here now. It's full of spirits here right now. Listen the same way you listen. You go any place, it's full of spirits. Okay, you go to a bar, you go on you go and you work in the office, it's always full of spirit. Okay? And then when they see you, and if they like you, if the affinity connects, they walk after you. They go with you. They stay with you. Okay? We see many cases here in the mediumship meetings that we do here. We ask the spirits, why you follow him? Why you with him? I just like him. Or because, he likes to drink this beer that I used to like to drink, and he likes to smoke, he likes to eat meat, he likes to do this, so on and so. Affinity, right? And they stay in the other side. Because the process of death do not change the individual. Absolutely zero. They don't change. We do not change. The only thing that is going to change in the other side that we observed throughout all these years and through all the books that we have and the mediums that we have and talked and the work that we did, it's we become more sensitive because we don't have this anymore to protect us. So over there, every emotion, it's real. It's right there. Okay? Because this here holds a lot. This here is a mask. On the other side, we don't have this mask. So everything is there for us to see. And that's how it is. As soon as, when one day you guys are going to become a medium also, I hope that everybody becomes a medium one day. And do this work also because it's a wonderful thing. And when you see the spirit approaching yourself, when you see the spirit, when you're ready to communicate the spirit, you already know, before he comes in, you already know what's going on with the individual, the spirit, because everything is showing. It's like he's have this screen right here and telling, I'm this, I'm suffering of this, I die like this, and so on and so forth, and you can read it kind of like this, right? So the communication with the spirits, it's real, okay? But a lot of people today are, diminishing this wonderful thing that is to communicate with the spiritual world, to make ourselves more spiritual, to understand what is our essence in this planet. A lot of people are making a lot of money, are using for different ways. We are not judging, okay? But there is several ways to do the same thing. And one thing that most of the people that work with the spirituality don't know is this, the mystification of the spirit. John, on a gospel, there is a part there that he says, he warned us 2,000 years ago, he said, be careful, do not believe in everything that the spirit tells you, or do not believe in every spirit, depends on the translation. This is John on a gospel said 2,000 years ago. And that's one of the reasons Moses, 2,000 years before John, forbidding the communication with the spiritual world. Okay? Because what will happen between the Jewish people? Everything they were going to do it, they will ask a spirit. They ask a prophet, a seer, should I plant this? Should I marry her? Should I buy this? And then Moses came in and he said, no. This is forbidden. We cannot do this anymore. The only people that can communicate with the spirits is the prophets. It's right there in the Bible, right? He prohibited because of this reason. Because he knew that the spirit is what? It's only us that died. Didn't change. When you die, your knowledge don't grow. You don't become an angel. You don't become a devil, none of this. You just continue being John Doe, just like you were here. And then when this John Doe see opportunity, to have some fun or to control something, okay, the difference is there is different levels of spirits and intention why the spirit is closer to you. The medium who will be tamed, having submitted to the examination of the spiritual side of Paris, the letter, declare anonymously that it could not be the production of Bossuet. So this here, Kardec on a Spiritist Society of Paris received this letter from these people asking, is this a letter from this person here? His name was Bossuet. He was a bishop of the Catholic Church, a very famous one. The Spirit who dictated it may perhaps have done so in some degree under the inspiration of the great bishop, and may have but put the bishop names on the end of it in order to get more reality accepted. So in this case, what happened? When they analyzed the letter, Kardec said, no, this here is a mystification. Okay, but how Kardec found out it was a mystification? What Kardec did, he invoked the spirit who wrote the letter. And Kardec asked him, why did you do that? And I say, listen, I was here, I want to send out a message. And I think, and I thought if I put a name of a famous person, this message will be, more powerful when people read it. And it does, right? It does. So if you read a letter that is signed Abraham Lincoln, you're going to say, whoa, it's Abraham Lincoln, right? But if you say like it's John Nobody, you're going to say, it's just a letter. Because we are still connected in this duality of names and stuff. This spirit being interrogated to his motive in attempt in search of fraud reply, I was anxious to write something to bring myself back to the notice of men. Seeing that my communication was but weak, I borrow a great name to give him weight. So that was a mystification. And that's happened all the time. All the time. It happens all the time, okay? Especially in these locations that we go to find out, to sit down and to find out if I'm going to get married, if I'm going to get rich, if I'm going to find my better half, and so on and so forth. What enlightening spirits is going to be in the room waiting for you to come in and ask if you're going to get married? Of course, it's going to be frivolous spirits there with you. Working with the medium. There was I was reading a CNN last week. They did a study in almost 50 shows, reality shows on the TV, and all of them was fake. All of them, 50 shows was fake. All of them. All these reality shows, especially reality shows related to spirituality. All of them was faked. And they interviewed the medium. And there's right there, they're saying, yeah, we make up, we know, we study the person before, we go in online, we make this, and this, and this, and this, and that. So everything was fake. Even, what's her name?
The New York lady.
Yeah, her, even her, she was there too. So, but after I read that, I went back and I read about her history. She was a really good medium.
Yes.
She was. She was a really, really good medium. But without,
until she became too popular.
Yes.
Who did this research?
It was in CNN. I was reading that in CNN.
Yeah. That's my question, but anyway.
Uh-huh.
It's all right.
No, but I was reading that, but what they did is they asked and they showed the notice that the show has in the bottom that nobody reads, right? And it tells a lot that they get information before the show and the people that are going to be part of the show. So, and as she confirmed, other mediums confirm, a lot of the mediums confirm. But my point is this: she used to be really good in what she do, okay, and then changed, right? We don't know. We're not here to judge. But she was Rhode Island medium, right? She was a really good medium because there was some people that talked to her online back then, years and years ago. They had a wonderful experience with her. Okay, but why is this? And the people watch the show and they think this, oh my God, that woman is wonderful. She walks in just like she meant on a store and say, listen, I see your sister, she's next to you and this, and it starts, and people do believe in that. They believe in that. And what they did is they usually go in small towns and get certain people, take pictures, recognize them, go online, do all the research on that person, and then go in and approach that person in the store and so on and so forth. And that's how the show happens. And then after everything happens, they tell them what they do, and then they sign a disclosure. It's that simple. But a lot of people believe, but this is good because it puts more people to believe in spirituality and in the life of the world. Because we are very materialistic. And to be materialistic is not to love money, love good things. This is wonderful. To be materialistic is to not believe that we continue after we die. That's what's to be materialistic. It's not to believe there is a continuation after we die. It's to believe that we don't have a soul. It has nothing to do with having a lot of money, just wanting money. Okay? It's more with the spirituality part. So these spirits are ignorant, malevolent, inconsequent, and scorner. Get involved in all things, responding to anything with no regard whatsoever to the truth, as they enjoy provoking small upsets as well as a little happiness. The spirits like to produce discord and malicious induce error by mystification and naughtiness. And a lot of people don't know this, that the spirits are like this. Because we already talked about this a lot of times, but in different parts of the world, they deal with spirituality differently, right? You want to ask a question? Okay. Here in Brazil, I'm just going to give an example. In Brazil, all mediumship in there, the work is done with suffering spirits, always with suffering spirits. That's what they do down there. Okay. Suffering spirits, suffering spirits. Here, they don't believe in suffering spirits. Most of the mediums do not believe in suffering spirits. I have brought several here to center and talked to them and this, and they say, a lot of them believe that when the person dies, they become better, and the bad part stays with the body, and they reconnect with the divine again. But this is not true. This is not true. That's not what it is. Death will not change us, and we'll continue like this because of our free will. We need to evolve throughout our own efforts. That's how it is. Okay? And we have those chances to keep coming back here many times, having different experience in different part of the world, speaking different language, being male, being female, being gay, being whatever. But we need to experiment everything. That's how we evolve, because the only way for you to know something is to experiment in that. And that's what reincarnation does to us. So people that don't like certain things, definitely they're going to be pulled in next reincarnation to be that, so they can't understand what is to be what before what he is not to like. Like, for example, a lot of people like the separation of societies, of nationalities, right? So, gonna die, I don't like Brazilians. Guess what? He's gonna reincarnate in a small town in Brazil, right?
In the middle of a carnival.
In the middle of the carnival. That's, yes.
Sorry, I lost my voice, but when you reincarnate to something like that, does that spirit still go, or you just start all over again? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Every time you die, does that spirit go and become a spirit and stay there? Or
Yeah, there's a transition period. There is. There's a transition period between one reincarnation and another. It's a good question. People don't know that also. Okay? Some people take days to reincarnate. Some people take years. Some people take months. Some people take centuries, decades, millennia, million years. Depends on your free will.
But where are you?
Huh?
Like, where are you?
Right, so.
You're right here.
So, excellent question also, because when we die, there's three questions that a lot of philosophy don't answer. Is where we come from, why we're here, and where we go. Okay? And this where we go, it depends on you. Remember, justice and free will. You go where you want to go. How's that? That's where you go. So a lot of people die and stayed here. Okay? If you could see the outside world, if you could open that door right now, you're going to see hundreds of thousands of spirits going back and forth in there, thinking they are alive. Some of them thinking they are alive. Some of them don't know they're dead. And some of them know exactly what they're doing. Okay? And on a different vibration. Okay? So there are multiple vibrations. Actually, almost infinite vibrations. And you're going to go where you vibrate.
So that's what I mean. So if you're out, you see all of these 100,000, sorry about this.
Yeah, go ahead.
The 100,000 spirits, and they don't know that they died. How do you know if they're going to die to go and reincarnate instead of real human beings?
How they going to reincarnate again?
Yeah, compared to someone who's going to commit suicide.
That's the reason why the mediumship meetings, to work with the suffering spirit. Because what happened with these spirits? Because of their free will, we need to respect them. But places like this and others in the world, different, not only spiritists, but other beliefs also, what do? They invite those spirits in. And that's what we do in our mediumship meeting. We receive them, we tell them what's going on, and we direct them. That's how it is. Some of them wanted to go, others don't. Others say, hey, listen, I don't want your help. I don't want nothing to do with you. I just came here because I was following that girl here. And she came here, and when I left, I couldn't leave. And I'm here now. That's exactly how it happens. So let me go right now. So you try to talk to them and say, try to convince them. Most of the times we convince them to stay a little bit and this and that. But some of them you cannot convince. But that's how it is. So there is no, go ahead.
And also the spirit of light, they help them as well, right? They try to convince it, but they don't listen, and they stay in the same place. Is that true?
So the spirit of light and a vibration that they cannot see them.
But they don't come for them and try to help them?
No, how? If they cannot see them. So that's the reason why. So remember, let's go back in Jesus' time that what Jesus says about us, this family that we have on this planet. Okay, who are responsible for you?
Myself?
No. Everyone. That's humanity. Who is responsible for him? Everyone. Understand now? So we are all connected here. So without a medium to help this spirit get out of this trance so they can see the enlightened spirits, see? We need to do the work. We need to do the work. It's sharing the suffering of others. There's the responsibility as human to see others suffering. What do we need to do? Act. And that's what we do.
So we have
And
to pray for them.
yes, but if exactly, prayer is the other way of acting. Because when you pray for somebody, especially pray for people that already died, it helped them get out of this trance that they are and help them see the enlightened spirits. Move a little bit up, okay? And so they can be helped. That's how the work is done. The medium, that's why they call the medium. He's in between to make this bridge, this connection. And the process is lengthy, right? But it's happening. It's happening little by little, right? All the spirits that are here right now listening to this information, okay? Because nothing changes when we die. So a lot of people get lost. André Luiz, one of the Spiritist authors, he says that 9 out of 10 people that died, they don't know what's going on.
So the spirits in Brazil, they have more chances to talk with a medium versus here in the United States?
Wow, that's a subject, very touchy also. Because, right, we have Spiritist Center that in every corner, right? We have mediumships that in every day millions of people working with the spirituality. So the spiritual world of Brazil is like comparing with the physical world of the United States with the physical world of Brazil. Here is way more advanced than that, right? But the spiritual world in Brazil, it's way more ahead because of the lack of spirituality in certain countries. And it needs to be done. It's an interesting thing that in Brazil, we have the African cults, right? And this helped Brazil open their mind to spirituality. What happened here in the United States on the slavery? They forced the slavery in going to Christianity. And none of them, they didn't let them do the African cults and everything. So in the United States, you don't have any type of cult because it could not bring it over. It was not accepted back then. Okay? They forced, what they did is the slave owners would teach one of the slaves Christianity, and then they say, listen, now you go over there and teach them. And that's how they were indoctrinated. And they forgot all the past things. And that's the reason here in the United States, the only people that believe actually in spirituality the way we do, you know who they are?
Native Americans.
Native Americans. And they are the one who take care of the spiritual world of the United States. And every single state of the United States, they are in the front of this work. Here in the center, we have several of the Native American spirits that work with us. And they were wonderful. I mean, wonderful, wonderful. The vibration is amazing. And they are the leaders here. They are the front to help here in the United States. And this is a problem because when you don't believe in something, you're not sure. When you die, the law, the universal law is going to respect what you want. It's going to respect your free will. God cannot interfere with your free will because if he interferes in your free will, he's no longer God. He's changing his laws. And God and the Creator cannot change his laws. Right? I'm going to create you simple and ignorant, and you're going to evolve with the help of others, but you have your free will. You do whatever you want. And there is a lot of information out there for us to inform ourselves. We take different paths according to our choices and according to our free will. Okay? But, Rafael, on the mediumship meetings, it's full of enlightened spirits. They are not in heaven with the wings, flapping around. They are in the dark places working every day, all the time, because millions and millions of souls are suffering on those locations because of the ignorance of spirituality. Okay? And this is very important that we get enlightened on that. If you believe that you have a soul, if you really believe that you have a soul, work on this. Work what is eternal, your soul. Try to understand this. Try to comprehend. Okay? Because this is just a school year that we're going to stay here. We're going to have to move forward. Okay? And as soon as we move forward, we're going to need this knowledge. We're going to need this understanding of the spiritual world.
That's why, like, many times when you see speakers talking about spiritism, people always say, what can I do to help my friend or my family member that's passed away in this situation? They always say prayer.
Pray.
Because when you pray for them, no matter what, that's what you need. Because if you cry or try and keeping them here, it make it even harder for them to do the transition or to see anything, better than spiritual to go to the right place.
The power of prayer is different. The planet is a living being, okay? The planet is a living being, and it lives from the energy that we release it to it. Better or no good, right? That's the reason why we see this, catastrophes in this, because when the energy is too low on the planet, something happened. And then what we do? We love. And then we release this to heal the atmosphere, the vibration of the planet. Okay? In Rio de Janeiro, for example, after the carnival, what happened? Every carnival. What happened? The end of the carnival, what happened on the next day, on the Wednesday? Who said rain? Rain.
A lot.
A lot. Every year.
That's why I say
To wash it. To clean. To
Great.
get all those spirits out of the streets, you know. That's a common thing. And that's same thing in New Orleans. I was in New Orleans. My sister used to live in New Orleans. And they used to have wonderful centers there. Right? They used to do wonderful work in New Orleans. And one time I was part of one, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful. There is, a lot of people doing this work with the spirituality. So you understand that the spirit being ignorant is just like us, right? We disincarnate, we continue with the same knowledge that we have, right? And with the same free will. If I don't want to, go anywhere, we're going to stay around here. People stay in their houses. Sometimes the spirits communicate and say, listen, I left home, and then when I came back, nobody talked to me, nobody recognized me, nobody listened to me, and so on and so forth, in the mediumship meeting. Sad, right? It's very sad, understand. It's painful, but he doesn't understand what's going on. Okay? So it's the ignorance of his spirituality. Having extensive knowledge, these spirits assume to know more than they actually do. So what happens when a medium is communicating with a spirit? Okay? Kardec told us that enlightened spirit will never influentiate in your free will. He's going to give you advices based on the examples that we have in the world. Jesus Christ and Buddha and so on and so forth, and others. So that's how they give the advice. They don't tell you, do this, do that. They get an example of perfection and say, listen, you should do, what he did, because he's in a place like that, right? But those spirits that don't care about that, what do? They show some progress from several points of view. Their language has a serious character, which may lead to mistakes regarding their capacity and illumination. But very frequently, it is simply a reaction of the prejudice and systematic ideas carried over from their earthly life. Their words, a mixture of some truth and some absurdities, which turn presumption, pride, envy, and stubbornness that they have not yet stripped. Go ahead.
So maybe I should let you finish your thought before I ask this question.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm thinking about my experience with spirits, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from my experiences, for example, what I'm reading from you, what I'm getting from you is that the spirit is that carries over almost the human personality in a way. It doesn't change, right?
It doesn't.
And so my experience is that my mother, before she passed away, she was very, very emphatic that I take care of my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Take care of your sister, take care of your sister, take care of your sister. After she passed away, she came to me in a series of dreams and says, I was wrong. No, you don't do that. And it was interesting because it was as if she, her spirit, or I'll refer to her as, it's as if she became aware of some knowledge and then came back to me and said, in my mortal life, I made a mistake. I required and requested something of you that isn't yours, right? And that's the way the message came through. And then also a friend of mine, her grandmother passed away and was very devout Catholic, and they're Latin, they're Mexican, so she's kind of the suffering Catholic,
mm-hmm.
praying and the kind of thing. And her family, Monica's family, revered her in her practice. And she came to my friend Monica and said, I did it wrong. You don't do that. Life is joy. And she said, this is
how you're supposed to do.
What I'm hearing, and my personal experience is that the soul actually evolves when it makes the transition and comes back with a more enlightened perspective and then shares that.
Okay, I was going to get to that at the end because of her question, right? Because what happened? Because I cannot englobe everything. You're right, because when you die, you go to the top of the mountain. You're going to be able to see more
Right.
Okay? Understand this, right? So we receive spirits here, you talk different. Like, for example, my mother, 6 months after she passed, she came here and I was able to talk to her. And she was talking different than she used to be. Why? Because she saw differently, right? But we are talking about, the study was about those spirits that are always around us here. No, those are spirits that take a different path. Those spirits that take a path, when you die, you know, you had a good heart, you are taken to different places, good places. That's exactly what happened. They have a bigger vision.
Right.
And when they come back in spirit, they give good examples.
Right.
But when they reincarnate again, that's when they're going to try that knowledge.
Right.
That's different, right?
Yeah.
So then, that's when we can go to the right path or the wrong path. But they don't evolve in the spiritual world. You don't evolve in the spiritual world. You only evolve here. Over there you learn. And here, you're going to practice. And then you're going to see if you're going to pass or not. Right? I was talking about this yesterday about André Luiz. André Luiz died 100 years ago. And he was a doctor in Brazil, just drinker, smoker, cheater, whatever. Right? But you're going to read his books now. My God, this guy could never do this, what he did here. But he's been there for 100 years. What you can learn in 100 years if you want? A lot of things. Right? It's like college. You do your college, 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and then you go into the field to prove that, how good you are, if you're going to pass or not. And that's what happens. You don't evolve there. You evolve only intellectually. But the moral,
Sorry to interrupt, but for 7 years he was like paralyzed, like the people outside of you.
Yeah, for 8 years he was in a bad place. Yes, he was rescued after 8 years. Yes, that's another part also. So you're right about this. It changed. We had a meeting in Brazil, Chico Xavier. I don't know if you heard about him. And one time he was writing a letter from this mother to the daughter. And he wrote the letter and said, my little daughter. And then when the daughter heard that, she got very mad to Chico Xavier and spit on him and said, you a faker. My mother never called me little daughter. But she's been dead for years already. She already been in a spiritual world, acquiring more knowledge, different than what she had the perspective here. Now she's on the top of the mountain. She can see more. She changed as a spirit. But that change only going to stick after she reincarnated again and followed the path of love. So there is no evolution in the spiritual world. Because if it was evolution in the spiritual world, why we need to come back here?
So then, you know.
But it's different spirits that are incarnated here. Go ahead, sorry.
So, you know, the question that I've had recently, because it's like after my mom passed away, there was no doubt in my mind, like she was manifesting in different ways and in communicating with me. Like,
cool.
Mostly through like dreams, right?
Uh-huh.
I don't even like calling them dreams because then that gives them some sort of.
You only call dreams because it's more, it's more acceptable to people.
Right. But then they downplay because that was a dream. And so it's like I'd say communicate. There's another word I have.
You can go ahead and say, I was seeing her. She was present there. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
And so then I was thinking in the sense like, okay, so obviously I know she's guiding me. Like she helped me through some major issues and came and taught me some things and got me to release some things that. And then I thought to myself, well, like, because I prayed to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I asked her for guidance. And then I thought to myself, am I holding her back by needing her guidance, right? Am I preventing her soul from moving on and reincarnating? And I started to think about this, and now you're bringing up the whole reincarnation thing, and then I thought to myself, well, like there was a point in time where I didn't feel her contact, right? And I'm not certain if I have. And then my dad started to appear, because my dad passed away, and he was, as like, he wasn't as present, spirit wasn't as present. But now my brother is going through some trouble, and of like my dad is appearing. Like my brother is my father's son, for sure. And so so then I'm thinking like this exchange and how, like, I don't know, I'm just thinking of that in the sense of the reincarnation, the soul, and the timing and all of that, I guess.
What's your name?
Bruce.
Oh yeah, Bruce. Bruce, you brought a important thing that it is. When you pray for somebody to give you guidance, is that person prepared to give you guidance?
Mm-hmm.
It's not only because she was your mother. Do you understand? So, in another way also, yes, in some cases, you are preventing her to move on because that's what is supposed to move on. Because you have somebody next to you that was assigned to you to do this job. Understand? So most of the time when you're feeling somebody that you know, could not be them. It's just that person that is assigned to you, the mentor that is assigned to you, doing this so you can accept the advice or the guidance. So let me just finish here. So when a person passes, depends on the level of evolution of that person, right? If you bring her back closer to your family, she's going to suffer a lot, right? She's going to miss the kids, miss the living there. If that person is not prepared for this, right, it's no good for her. And there is a lot of people that also don't have that condition to go closer to their loved ones, okay? Now, a lot of our mentors do is to mimic this vibration. So for a Catholic, if she's going to see a spirit, what he's going to see? An angel with wings, right?
I understand.
So a spiritist, if he sees an angel with wings, he say, oh my God, I'm going crazy, because he should see a guy with a white robe. Right. Do you understand? So it's more easily to be accepted by you.
So
okay.
If I hear you correctly, what you're saying is that there's a spirit, which is my spirit guide.
Yes, your mentor.
Stepping in and presenting themselves as my mother.
Not presenting himself, but the vibration. Remember, it's the vibration.
That identifiable vibration.
Yes. It's not in all cases. I'm just giving you certain example. In your case, it could be your mother, it could be your father. Right. You understand? But in a lot of cases that people come here and ask me those questions, okay, I'm praying for my mother a lot to help me. And then I start talking to her and I see who the mother was and the condition that the mother was. I say, oh my God. You understand? So
I get what you're saying. I understand.
You understand? Yeah. So, but in your case, it could be very well your mother.
Right.
And especially the thing that she came back to say, listen, I was wrong. This is very familiar of spirits to do this. They get so worried on the other side. They see now, saying, listen, let me go and tell them at least this. And they let them. And she come and she'll pass the message.
Well, actually, before my mom passed, she actually said to me, like she told me, I'm going to help you.
Here we go.
Like, so there was a very conscious and yeah. Like,
it could happen. It could. There is people here that come here and say, Luide, I never got a message from my father. He's been dead for 20 years. He's been dead for 30 years. And people that work in a center, you know, and it's difficult. It depends. Each case, it's a case. Yeah. You cannot combine, you cannot make nothing general. Go ahead, hon.
It's evolution. You keep saying if they see, from the mountains, and if they decide to stay there and make their own decision or come back because of somebody asking or this, distance that I'm asking. Is time faster?
No. We on a third dimension. We interaction with the fourth dimension. Okay.
Yeah.
And time in the fourth dimension still follows us here in some of the vibrations. Here we have 7 vibrations up and 3 down. Okay? What we know until the 5th one is still follow our sun, our 24-hour period. We know this because we have books. André Luiz told us many times. Other spirits told us the same way. Okay? It is. 1 hour, morning, afternoon. They see a sun, they see a moon. It's like another planet around our planet is just in a different vibration. And then there is another planet on a different vibration. Then there's another planet and another vibration. So the vibrations are planets within planets. Okay? So our planet today has several vibrations, up and down. There is some vibrations there today on the year 1000. They're still living on the dark ages. Okay? And there are vibrations, they are hundreds of years ahead of us. And that's the reason why you see the kids are being born today already with this way of technology, way of talking, way of being themselves or accepting others the way that we could never accept. So it's André Luiz brings us a lot of information, and Chico Xavier also in his books about life on the spiritual world. Okay, I can recommend you a couple of books for you to read so you can understand the vibrations and the cities in the spiritual world, right? There are cities on a fourth dimension, right? So we have Pompano Beach here physical, but you have a city on top of it, okay? Cities, big cities, yeah. That's how it is. So one day, because our evolution is to evolve from this vibration to other, and keep going, and keep going, and keep going, and keep going. You cannot get out of here of this body the way you live here, eating, drinking, having loved ones, and go to a place there is nothing. There is no way. You need to continue kind of on the same path so you continue your evolution. But one thing I tell you, the evolution of the spirits, like Bruce said here, you evolve there intellectually. You learn a lot of things. So you change. It's like when you're inside the church. You inside the church, you talk calmly, right? Even though that you see somebody that you hate. You say, hey, hello, hi, right? But when you get out of the church, right or wrong? That's exactly it on the spiritual world when you're in this point. You have a bigger vision, so you act according. But it's here when you reincarnate that you're going to prove yourself. There is a book called Messengers, and he tells a story of people that prepared themselves for years and years and years and years in the spiritual world and come here to apply, and they fell, right? Several of them have failed. It's a great story because of free will.
Wait, so you have to go through all those evolutions to come back to reincarnate?
No.
Okay.
No. We have cases that people reincarnated 2 days after their death. 2 months, 1 month, 1 week, 1 year. So that's all depends on thy spirit. Okay? The process of reincarnation is a process for you to get used to not to have this. That's what the reincarnation is. For you to get used to stay away, don't be so dependent on this. Okay? And then you come back, and every time you come back, you give a step ahead. Your virtues, you start working your virtues, you start evolving little by little, little by little, little by little, until you be a Christ. I don't know how long it's going to take for us, but but we're going to get there. That's our path. That's what we know. That's what we're going for. After that, we don't have a lot of information, okay? Because we cannot understand something that we never live. We can only understand what we have been living, and we cannot explain something that is beyond us, okay? But for what we know right now, for the books that we've been sent by the spirits to us and everything, the process is this way. It's lently, but always, the only path is the path of love, period. Okay? That's the only path.
And one last question.
Go ahead, Rafael.
So when you go live, our spirit to go for evolution too. He go to study to learn.
If he wants.
Yeah.
If he wants. If you want, you can go to study, learn things, and so on and so forth. There is a book here in the library about the Wright brother. You should read it.
Right.
Okay? The guys who invented the plane here in the United States. Because who invented the airplane was the Brazilian guy. I'm just kidding. So you should read. The stories are very interesting in the spiritual world. Okay? So they didn't want it. One of the brother didn't want it. The other one wanted. Work on this group of people that are putting together how to evolve the transportation on the planet. And one brother they wanted the other, they want to stay there. And it's very interesting. It's all according to you. It's free will. That's justice. Do you understand? So you're not forced to do anything. Okay? But some people, yes.
But you have the option.
You have the option. Yes, you are given this option to, because of the colonies on the other side. Did you ever read Nossa Law? Mm-hmm. See what happened there? You saw the movie. You saw that lady that wants to visit his family, and the governor there say, listen, we already gave you several jobs, and you don't want to work. And then she complains where she living, right? She lives in a, but you don't want to. See, it don't change. Nothing change. It cannot change. The change, it cannot be that dramatically. Okay? It's very small change from this vibration to the other vibrations. Okay? That's what it is. So I recommend that we get it on. And, it's good. It's interesting because that's where we're going. You believe it or not, that's where we're going. And there is proof. There is a lot of things. There is people like Bruce, for example, that has this experience. It makes easier for us to get into this path. Other people don't give this chance. This happened to him because he gave this chance to happen. He opened up himself to do it. Because if he was a skeptic, nothing was going to happen to him. He won't feel anything. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, so we're going to have to finish here because I'm already late on the time. I had a couple more slides, but it's not important. What we talked about here was very productive. And we're going to continue doing this talk about this subjects, okay? It's interesting in school. Huh?
So are you saying you're going to continue this next
To be
Wednesday?
continued.
Not me, other
For
person.
7 years, right?
Huh? That's right.
Smart guy.
All righty. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you much.